welcoming in one of the greatest Packers ever to do it, a four-time Pro Bowler. You see him on Bleav in Packers. Ahman Green coming to join us on Bleav in Cowboys. Hey, we appreciate you. We're talking about this whole Micah Parsons. We're just diving right into it. We know that Jerry's petty. We know there's not going to be a tribute video. We know that Micah Parsons also has a suite that he paid for that he couldn't get a refund for, and all the rest of the drama. So yes, he has a suite that he paid for that Jerry would not give him a refund. So there's so much going on, but your just initial thoughts going into this Sunday night game, Micah Parsons coming back to play the Cowboys.
Hey, first off, when it hits in the pockets, it's personal. So just off the jump, Micah is already in the back of his head. I said, you know what? I got to pay for a suite for this whole season, and I didn't give the refund. So you already know he got motivation right there. That is like the complete and other. I remember I got fined heavy by the Texans one year because I missed the treatment because I was on IR, and they still hit me hard. And I was, oh my God, I couldn't wait if I could play against the Texans or when I got to the Green Bay and I played against the Seahawks and Mike Holmgren had it out on me. He called me a fumbler, and I was only in my second year. I'm a pup. And now I got fumbler tagged to my name on top of that. So I was like, I can't wait to play the Seahawks. It is popping. So I already understand the animosity built off of just that, right? Just that. That's all I need. Yeah. If I'm Micah Parsons, that's all I need. But obviously there's more because we saw the drama play out through training camp with Micah holding in and then trying to, sounded very positive that from his end, that he was going to get a deal done, for everybody in football, including y'all as well, everybody. When it went down, I was streaming and my phone started blowing up. I had all my boys because I know Cowboys, I know Packers, and my phone was lighting up like a Christmas tree. And I'm like, what's going on? I mean, I know they play this year, but then it said, Micah Parsons traded. And I'm like, what in the world? What in the French toast is going on? So many factors, right? I mean, he has, I say, molded into Jeff Hafley's defense very well, being a veteran. And, to a point, he's the type of player where scheme-wise, because you know how coaches go when they're doing their game plan for every week, for every team, they start with a certain, section, pass game, and then to the run game, how and what's going to be our goals, trying to get into the quarterback, put pressure on Dak, and stuff like that. And so even though he wasn't there for all that stuff during training camp, he can just say, you know what, just find a spot where you feel comfortable and go ball and get see ball, go ball, get ball. That's pretty much where first 2 weeks is with Micah. But now you're going into week 3 and 4 where he's getting the scheme down. He's getting what Rashard is doing, what Quay Walker wants to do as a linebacker, as those two linebackers, defensive end teammates, and how they're going to work together. And you saw it then, even though Cleveland game was basically 94 minutes of them dominating, but then 4 minutes Cleveland was able to get away with a victory there. So with caution, Jenkins having a big run and a turnover, so that helped them get that win. So and then that's more, you just lost a game you should have won, and it was unfortunately part of it was the defensive problem, not stopping the run game, and so that right there is motivation for Micah and the defense to be like, hey man, we about to really bring it to Dak in the offense, but they got some weapons. One weapon is gone, and CeeDee Lamb. So yeah, it's gonna be. This is like the easiest game to get up for if you are a player. I know how the fans are now on both sides. I know Cowboy fans. I know Packer fans. But for a player, this is probably the easiest game to get up for, hands down, so far this year.
Ahman, the Cowboys have, defensively, they haven't played the best this year, right? Missing
Correct.
Assignments, communication, giving up a tremendous amount of splash plays over the last couple of weeks. We turned Caleb Williams into a Pro Bowler in one game. We made Russell Wilson look like the old Russ for 4 quarters. Jordan Love coming into town, and there's been this conversation about Jordan Love of the potential is there, right? And the ceiling is so high. And, this is a guy who can take this team to the Super Bowl. Didn't, particularly play well last week, had the massive turnover in the fourth quarter on the interception. What type of game plan do you look at when Matt LaFleur comes in, trying to implement for Jordan Love and this offense to attack this Cowboys defense?
I Bleav it won't be much of what we saw, what we've been seeing, right? It's just now it's adjustments, right? They saw what they had to adjust to with Myles Garrett and the Cleveland defensive line, right? That game, if you watch that whole game, I watched the whole first half and part of the third quarter of that game. And that defensive front held the Packers from running, from completing passes.
Yeah, it's amazing when you have a generational player on the defensive line. How much that helps your defensive line.
It's huge.
It's crazy. It's insane how that works when you have one of the best defensive players in the league on your line. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ahman.
Yeah, give me a Garrett or give me a Parsons, then it's good to go, right? It's game planning is simple. Defensive coordinators are not stressed out where they're getting sleep. They're not yelling at their wife and kids. It's something where, because why? They just know how to get to the ball. And when you do that, when you cause penetration, like I knew one thing as a running back in the NFL, if you have penetration as a running back, doing any type of run play gets just totally the plan, it gets destroyed. Because I know when I was running, we were a counter play offense. We like counters, we like powers. But if you got the 3 techniques sitting in my lap or in my guard's lap that's pulling around, play blew up. Where I'm stumbling, I'm trying to jump over guys to get out of the backfield. That slows me up, and then here comes the linebackers. I got Erlacher or Lance Bridges in my chest, right? So I don't want that. And so that's where when you have a generational talent that has mastered what they do, coming off the edge is a science, and so they know. If I come off the edge, if I I'm gonna go jump in a nose guard. And then you see Micah do that. I've seen him done it as a Packer. I've seen him done it as a Cowboy. You bring up so much anxiety to an offensive lineman where they're like, wait a minute, where did he go? Where's one? Where's he? Okay, he's over here on the right side now. Oh, now he's on the left side. Oh, he's an edge. He's a wide 9. Wait a minute. Hold up. Check. Just check. Check everything.
Hold on, because I want to go a little deeper on this, because you talked about the anxiety that an offensive lineman might have, and you kind of touched on it from the running back position. If you're Javonte Williams or Miles Sanders coming in on a third down play and you're not necessarily in the route, you got to get a chip block here and there, and you know that you have holes on your offensive line already. What is your mindset as a running back, knowing you have a killer on the other side that is salivating, ready to get to the quarterback?
So first responsibility, I listen to the play call, right? And if it is, for example, so if it's a play call where I have no responsibility, it's a scat protection. I'm like, all right, I could give 99% effort of helping out that right tackle or that left tackle, wherever Parsons is at. Now, if I have a play action fake, you know what? It dropped the percentage drops down now to 50 to 40% because I got to do my play action fake, unless it's a play action fake where I can abort the fake. Because some fakes, the coach says, if you got a problem and you see it, go get it. Don't even fake with the quarterback. The quarterback could just run out the play action by himself. And we have plays designed like that. And so when that happens, that's what I'll do. I'll just abort the fake because I got to help out my offensive line. Because if not, our quarterback is going to be getting grass stains all over the back of his jersey. We don't want that. That is priority number one in those two scenarios. And I know I had plenty of times when Chad Clifton, shout out to my boy, I love him to death. But he would say, AG, I need a chip block over here. I said, bro, it's scat protection. That means I got to get to the flat now, immediately. Right. And if I ain't there, it's a problem. Brett's going to be asking me, or Aaron's going to be like, where are you at? I'm like, so I got to do a hand on the run. I'll push the guy, but I'm running to myself to the flat. So that's the type of problem Parsons, Garrett, any Russian, and then they got, Rashard Gary as well on the Packers. So when you have those guys rushing in, from the alignment anxiety to the thought process of the running back, that is all flustered, right? I mean, that's the problems. Edge rusher that is dominant on the D line causes the type of problems and mindset. It totally changed your mindset as an offensive player, because you like, okay, now my quarterback had about 3.5 seconds. Now it's down to 2.5 seconds to get the ball loose. If we're in passing mode, it's 2-minute drive, or we got to get a first down. Now they have a little advantage. But if we execute, we can get the ball out. Great. But if we miss one gap, we don't go where we need to go. We don't adjust properly in the offensive line adjustments or the quarterback adjustment audibles, then we got a problem. and then that player sometimes know how to adjust on the run too and just be a phenomenal athlete and can beat almost, it seemed like they damn near beat everybody, at one point in time. But those are the things that I say, those are the mindsets of offensive line and running backs that you got to go through. And this every play for 3 hours, right? Or three, whatever, running time, it's an hour game, but 3 hours overall, that's what you're thinking about. And so until that guy is on the sidelines, I always check. Like I remember having to deal with Javon Curse, and I said, hey, I know I could block. Get the ball out fast, Brett. I said, just get the ball out now. Don't stumble, don't pump fake it. Let it go. Even if you throwing the ball out of bounds, that helps me out too, because I know you're safe because I knew I could not block the dude. It was a problem, and I admitted it. So that's the biggest thing. Admit the problem as an offensive player, during the week, in the game, to your other teammates, because then we all know where the holes are, so we can then adjust and then try to let the offensive coordinator know or the head coach know, hey, we need to do this, this, and this. We need to run plays that are getting the ball out fast, because right now we don't have the time, because these guys are coming off the edge hot and the quarterback has no time.
Ahman, I within this whole Micah Parsons trade, and we talk so much about Micah Parsons, we talk so much about Jerry Jones and the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys, but there was a player that was also added in this trade.
Yes.
Kenny Clark got sent to
forget about him.
And he talked about it this week, and he said, listen, yeah, I heard about the trade, and they were saying that trades were happening, but I didn't think I was going to be added into this mix. All right. And this is the one guy who a lot of people on both sides, Packer side, Cowboy side, we talk about Micah coming back, but how do you think Kenny Clark feels about him going up against his former team and being traded away when he thought, man, this is where my family's here, my crib is here, everything that I built has been here, drafted here. Like this is home for me. And all of a sudden now they didn't think enough of me to want to keep me and send somebody else in this trade.
Hey, it's a quandary, right? Because I've been traded, and when I found out, I had just talked to Coach Mike Holmgren in the year-end meetings real fast, and he said I had a good season. You could push Ricky Watters for the starting job. I was in Seattle at the time, and so I'm like, that's all the music to my ears. I could work hard, earn the role. If I don't, I'm still Ricky Watters' backup. That's not a bad position. 2 months later, the day before the draft, where they did the next day, they trade me and then draft set for Shaun Alexander, which worked out for both of us, right? But in the beginning, I'm like, what? Where am I going? But that feeling was I had no idea it was coming. So it's like, okay, how do I now? I adjusted just like I've done since I was a kid. I looked at the brighter side, right? I'm like, okay, look, I'm in a new organization. Got a great quarterback. They've been to the Super Bowls in the last 5 years twice. They won one, lost one, right? I broke that all down. Kenny, I don't know where his mind went. Probably, obviously being in Green Bay, it's a family culture because it's a small city, small town. We hang out a lot together as teammates. So that right there would probably hit him first. Like, man, I got my guys. We probably hung out every Thursday or Friday night after practice, whatever. Now that's gone. I got to do that again in Dallas. I got to reintroduce myself, right? Then on the field standpoint, he knows he most likely is going to be the starter, but you just know, being real, you're like, okay, who's on their roster, and at my position, they have Jay Toy and Mozzie Smith. So knowing that, you was like, you don't know where they're at. They know the scheme better than me right now. I'm not part of their scheme. I'm part of Jeff Hafley in the last 10 years or 8-9 years that he was over there with Green Bay. So I got to do that adjustment and find out real fast. But then seeing it on the news, too, was like, I'm seeing this going down, not knowing that I'm in the mix. I'm a cup of KC coming to D town pretty much, and like, wow. So now I'm here. So it all happened like it's like a roller coaster ride. You're up, you're down, and so that's basically how you got to take it and be professional. So once he got there and once it went down, they're both sides were professional about it. Micah, the way he conversated, Kenny, the way his interviews and talk was all how you would handle it professionally. Hey, I'm here. I got to play ball. Do I still have a connection with someone? 100%. You're human. You're not going to just disconnect that fast. because usually good teams, which Dallas has a good team, I'm pretty sure they had a friendship, a brotherly connection on some level, and so has Kenny Clark with his teammates too. I know that because I was there. I just moved down to Houston 2 years ago, so his early years I was there with Kenny Clark. So seeing him, time to time, talking to him, hanging out, interviewing him. I've done a couple of talk shows where I was able to talk to him. So knowing that he did have a connection there, it does something where it happened right at the season, so he might not hit it and think about it a ton because like right now I gotta play football. But once the season's over, it might be a look back like, man, that was interesting. So that's the business of the NFL. You find out real quick. For them, it happened years later. It wasn't right away in their rookie or second year like myself. I got traded in my second year. But for Kenny and Micah, there's something they got to reflect on. That's at the end of the day, if anything, it makes you better. It makes you stronger. And now you understand the business of football pretty much.
The business of football, that's what we're all about right here. Bleav in Cowboys. Jesse Holly, special guest. Ahman Green is in the building. Nebraska Cornhusker, running back extraordinaire. Now, I just want to do something. We did this early in the show. Oh, and by the way, this is all brought to you by FanDuel. AG, I'm going to put something up on the screen, and we're going to talk about this, and it's going to make sense once you see it.
Right.
This face right here,
yes.
Defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus for the Dallas Cowboys. We see around the league a number of players, current and former, look at the Dallas Cowboys and say, oh, this is a get-right game. Oh, I'm about to get my numbers right. I'm about to get my stats right. Russell Wilson, check. Caleb Williams, check. So Jordan Love, he might not be top 5 quarterback, but he's paid like one, and he plays like one when he plays the Dallas Cowboys. So you know what's going on behind the scenes. You know what the vibe is with the team. They've been very, very quiet, very humble, but what is Jordan Love and the whole Packers offense? Are they really licking their chops right now, knowing they're about to see the man that's on the screen and his team?
100%. I mean, they already experienced him for the years he was at Chicago. But obviously it's a different, it's different factors, right? They have, he had a young quarterback that along with him, his coaches down in Chicago or up in Chicago, they didn't develop properly, right? With Justin Fields, and it started to mess Caleb Williams up too, and it was like, it's not hard to take a first-round quarterback, put him on the shelf for a couple years, get a veteran in front of him, and develop even the veteran as well, and then to help develop the younger guy. We're not asking the veteran QB to say, hey, we need you to coach Caleb. No, all we're saying is we'll develop you, and Caleb being a smart kid, he'll watch you. He'll watch like how we coach you up and stuff like that. And so he's going to pay attention on some level, and that's been the history of guys like Dante Culpepper, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, the successful quarterbacks that eventually are going to become either Hall of Fame or potential Hall of Famers. When they're on the shelf for 2 to 3 years, they got a veteran guy in front of them that knows what they're doing. Then they come out better when their time is ready to go. So with that part of the situation going on, that's something to where, the team having Jordan Love be the leader, they already played against Eberflus, so they kind of know his design, his scheme. So that's going to be I'm trying to say advantage. That's going to be an advantage there too. So now it's just different players, right? We got Tay Diggs, playing back there, and we have some, great guys on the defensive line for Dallas that know how to rush a passer that also are going to be playing, even though they have.
Wait, hold on, dog. You said Tay Diggs, the actor?
Oh no, not to my bad. I meant Stephon. I was about to say, I know I said Tay, and then I was like, wait a minute. I know it's a T.
I was just messing with
Trayvon Diggs, excuse me.
I was like, hold on for a second. That's the dude from The Best Man. That would not.
Yeah. I knew it was a T. I was close.
No, you good. I'm just messing with you.
So Trayvon Diggs, right? That is having an okay season. He's been, back and forth because that's the DB's life, right? Sometimes you're on it, you're covering the guy, but sometimes you're kind of behind the 8 ball. So knowing that, with the group of receivers that Jordan Love he has some young guys that have grown together from Wicks. I know Reed is out with the shoulder injury, but you have Wicks, you have Tucker Kraft, you have even Musgrave has been picking up the slack as another tight end in that offense. So you got guys that are athletic that could run, and so defense for the Cowboys is also that too. Their DBs they're athletic, they can run, they know how to cover guys, but it all works hand in hand, right? This is where we talk about complementary to the offense and complementary to the defense. When the defense is doing well, then they get the ball back, they give the ball to the offense in good field position, and then boom, and then vice versa. And so when you do have that, it looks great. But when you don't have that, when you're trying to get to that, that's where right now where the Cowboys, because that shootout 2 weeks ago with the Giants, right? You got that where you're giving up big plays, you're giving up a ton of points. So where's that mindset at as a defensive player? You're like, man, this is not good. We can't put our offense in situation, even though Dak was answering the call, right? I've been in that situation where I remember I could go back to college where we're playing Missouri, and it was the kickball game. If you remember, we're playing Missouri, and every time from us scoring, and I just go to the defensive line. I went to Jason Peter. I went to Grant Risham. Hey, guys, if you stop them right now, they can't stop our offense. Just stop. They're like, AG, we're trying our best, man. It's that just type of thing where you look in the defender's eyes. You're like, they're kind of like, we don't know. We're playing hard. They're just getting plays. They're making plays better. And then sometimes that happens to a defense. And so for like what happened with Green Bay's defense last week. So with the Cowboys defense, that's where they kind of are. They're in that space. Like, all right, we know, we're the 1%ers, right? We're here. We're starters. So we know what we need to do. We just got to execute and make sure it's almost, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just got to be perfect enough to win out there on Sunday for the Cowboys and also for the Packers.
Ooh, man. Yeah, we're looking forward to this one. Of course, this is Bleav in Cowboys. Ahman Green joining us along with Jesse Holley. We know right now that the point spread is 6.5. That is a very wide margin, especially for a team that's coming in to play on another team's home field. I think it's unanimous. I think we're going to say that we're all going to go with Green Bay. I think that's a safe estimation. Again, we don't want to jeopardize any money that comes to Jesse Holley from the Dallas Cowboys. However, we got to call a spade a spade. So with that said, Jesse, I'll start with you before we get out of here. Do you think that the point spread is covered? In other words, is this going to be a close game or is this going to be blowout city?
Yeah, I don't get into all the point spread stuff like that. I just play football and I watch football. But I think, this is one of the games where, the Cowboys the last 2 weeks, the way that they play football, you got to believe that until they show you differently, you have to believe what they put out there, right? And right now, defensively, they haven't been able to stop a nosebleed. And with the way that the Green Bay Packers offense wants to be explosive, the way that LaFleur wants to give you the shifts and the motion and all that kind of stuff, the pre-snap eye candy that the Cowboys struggle with. This is the part of the communication that they struggle with the pre-snap stuff and the motions and lining up pre-snap, but there's being something different post-snap. They haven't been able to quite figure that out. And I think Green Bay wants to kind of get back on the winning ways after dropping that one against Cleveland a week ago. I have this a little bit. I got the Green Bay winning 31-13 at AT&T Stadium, pushing them to 6-0 at AT&T, 7-0 if you want to count them playing in the Super Bowl at AT&T years back. They've been. We may have to rename AT&T after this one to Little Lambeau. This has to be
Little Lambeau.
This might have to be Little Lambeau. This got Lambeau in Green Bay. This might have to be Little Lambeau.
The Green Bay Packers,
a Dallas fan, man.
And listen, the Green Bay Packers at AT&T Stadium, they have just as many playoff wins or postseason wins as the Dallas Cowboys do in their own state. So
the two dominant organizations / people at AT&T Stadium have been Kyler Murray, hadn't lost an AT&T Stadium since high school.
I heard about that. Yeah,
and the Green Bay Packers,
which is crazy.
That's facts too. It's not deniable right there, man.
No question. I watched Kyler Murray over and over again. DeSoto High School. That's where I went. He knocked us out the playoffs 3 different times. I witnessed it. He is him. He's been him. He's the number 1 pick for a reason. We can talk about that for another day. With that being said, I need to know, AG, I know clearly where your loyalties lie, but your thoughts on what's going to happen on Sunday night.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be the spread. They're going to get right at the spread, if not a half point up, make it 7 points, because where I know there is a deficit right now is their offensive line. They had Zach Tom go out last week, and then I Bleav was their free agent signing, Aaron Banks. He got injured as well. I don't know if he came back to the Cleveland game, but I know he was out for a big amount of time. He lost over 2 or 3 quarters he wasn't on the field. So he's doubtful for the game. So that right there, you got your 2 bookend tackles, or actually 1 guard, 1 tackle, excuse me. Right tackle for Zach Tom, left guard for Aaron Banks from San Francisco that are, Zach's out. So there you got Darian Kennard coming in. I don't know all the stats of him, but still not a lot of reps. I'm pretty sure he got a ton of reps during training camp. And then Aaron Banks, your free agent signing, he's doubtful. If he does play, he's not 100%. So that's just blood in the water for a defensive coordinator. Defenders or that are rushing him, they're gonna say, he's beat up. Let's give him all the ET stunts that we could throw at him, basically, because he's going to be laboring just a tad. We'll find out come the game time. So that's the part where, for me, as a running back, and knowing how we talked about the offense earlier in this podcast here, everything starts and ends with the offensive line on both sides of the ball for these teams, right? You got a quarterback you got quarterbacks that can throw the ball. You got running backs that want to run. You got Josh Jacobs that didn't do a whole lot. He was effective more in the pass game than he was in the run game in Cleveland last week. So he is the type of back that he's patient, right? He's very patient to where whatever defense is going to give him, he's going to go get. If he's going, I got to be a receiver this game, I'll be the guy catching the balls out the backfield. But if you let me put my foot in the ground and be the running back who I am, you got a problem. So he's going to definitely try to get to that, because that's the same thing I would try to do in a game like this, because me being the starting running back, I got to do my job. I got to run the rock. But you know what? Okay, you stop up the holes a little bit. You know what? I'll say, hey, let's get to the pass game. You do some screens. I'll be out in the flat, check down to the flat here over here, or I got a burst route. Look for me, Jordan, get me open. If I'm gonna be open, throw it to me. So that's where it starts and ends with the offensive line, because if that offensive line is not able to hold everybody up from the Cowboys defensive line, then obviously Jordan Love is going to have a good tough go at it. He already experienced that in Cleveland with Myles Garrett and what they were doing to him. So that's for me the factor where that game is going to be won by the Packers, but it's only going to be that 6.5 spread, that 6.5 spread that ESPN is giving the Packers. That's where I lie right there. So I say score wise, we got to put out a score. I'm gonna say 20. I'm gonna say 28 to 28 to 21 right there.
Okay, you think it's going to be a close game?
I don't know if you watched the Cowboys the last 2 weeks. The Giants' offensive line is god-awful, and Russell Wilson had a field day. The Bears' left tackle was god-awful, and Caleb Williams, for the first time in his career, wasn't sacked, and he was amazing. So I hear what you're saying about your offensive line in Green Bay, but I just watched for the last 2 weeks, 2 awful offensive lines look spectacular against the Cowboys' defensive front. So, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Hey, no, we definitely will see. Before we wrap up, man, AG, let the people know where they can find you if they want to keep up with what you got going on.
Got you. So I'm all like we mentioned at the start of the show, I'm also on the Bleav network. That's Bleav in Packers. I'll be putting out my show actually later today as well. And then I stream on Twitch. I'm on Ahman Green TV. And then also I'm on NIL TV Esports. So if you two gentlemen are gamers in any sorts, hey, hit me up. We already got phone numbers. We already got connected. So after that, you know what that means? Send me your gamer tags. So
man, hey, dog. Hey, I see you a married man. I don't know how many kids you got. I got kids.
They're out the house. I got 4 girls on the board. They're gone. They're grown. So.
See, I got kids in the house. I ain't got time for games. I got.
I know that life. I know that life. I remember.
I don't own a gaming system. I've never owned a gaming system. Not a PlayStation. Not
never.
The last games that I had was a Nintendo.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's rare to hear
I've
that.
Never owned a gaming system.
Interesting. See, but I was just going to say, but yeah, I stream on NIL TV Esports as well. We do fun competitions on Monday where we basically go 1v1 in Call of Duty. And then we team up on Tuesday in Call of Duty as well, and Warzone or multiplayer. And then Wednesday is Halo. Tonight is Friday, so it's FPS. So we're going to play some other random FPS game like Marvel Rivals, or do Warzone on Call of Duty, or do Fortnite or something like that today. I'll check in with my crew that is playing with me tonight. And then tomorrow I do a story mode, RPG game. Right now I'm playing Doom, The Dark Ages. I'm almost at the end of that. Actually, I'm about a quarter of the way through that. And on Sunday, of course, it's Sunday. I'm playing I'm most likely playing Madden 26. So if you want to get your skills in, like go buy a system now, Jesse. You too, Ro. I don't know what you're rolling with, but actually I'll be in Dallas. But I don't know if did you play for the Cowboys, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe I don't know when you play. You might have played with this guy or not, but he's a big time gamer. It's Tyrone Crawford, defensive end.
I'm older than Ty Crawford. I'm older than him.
Oh, okay. All right, Jesse. So I'm
we share the grades in the beard.
Yeah, gotcha.
Tyrone Crawford.
Gotcha. So he's a gamer. He plays Warzone. So I've been getting him in the Madden. So we've been going back and forth. So we're gonna have our own Packer versus Cowboy in some Madden 26 right before the kickoff that afternoon.
Reach out to Des Bryant. I know he's on.
I know Des do.
He's like, I'm the Madden king and all that. I'm like,
you still got to prove it though. I respect him. I respect.
I don't know.
The confidence.
I'm out of that. I watched the game. I watch it. I played it, but I can't get the sticks and play it. I don't know.
Yeah. No, you got to respect the comment behind Des, because I see him floating around gaming events every now and then. I know Dallas DreamHack happens every like April or May, and the first one I went to, I saw him there. I'm like, oh, okay. Because again, if you're a gamer, you show up to places like that, you got some street credit in the gaming space, So, but yeah, that's what I do 7 days a week, and I'm always looking for. So if you got any of your old teammates that game, hey, you got my phone number, pass it to them. They say, hey man, Ahman Green is doing some stuff that could, where you could have some fun, friendly conversation, friendly trash talking, and even make a couple bucks. That's what we're working on to get on this show. We're just not going to have guys just gaming for fun. We're going to have fun and get paid at the same time. So
man, listen,
check it out.
His last name is Green, and now you see why. You know what it is. Hey, get that paper, baby. You already know what time it is. Hey,
yes, sir.
Leave the people with some words.
Hey, man, continue to love one another, man. Take care of one another. Check on your strong friends. R.I.P. to one of my former teammates, Rudy Johnson, who passed away this weekend, man. As Marshawn Lynch said, man, check your mentals and your dentals all the time, man. And your chickens. Keep your chickens as well. But the mentals, brother. And men, we got to reach out for help, man. If you need help, you got to ask for help. There are places and people out there that love you and will help you. Don't go at this thing alone, man. And as always, man, eliminate the contingencies.
There it is. Hey,
I love it. I'll say another thing. So reason why I was late, guys, to the show, I'm a board member of the Pro Football Retired Players Association. So we just had a little meet and greet of information like what you just said, Jesse. So getting former players, understanding their health and how they can basically know their health benefits, what they have down there for what they have out there, that between a group like us, a whole bunch of former players, a couple Hall of Famers. We got Dave Robinson, we got Ron Mix, and we got Michael Haynes, Michael Singletary are a part of our board that makes sure we watch out for our guys. So when you step away from the game, just like some of the benefits that the NFL does have, so there's benefits everywhere. These two benefits that we cover, we cover dental care and vision care for former players. You just got to check into the website, the pfrp.com. That's where you go to find out all the information.
Nice.
Awesome. Love that.
pfrp.com.
Yeah, PFRPA. Almost forgot A.
Yeah. You can write that down because we can text each other when we're through with this.
Yep, for sure. That's right. It's like, we in group chat. I forget. We in group chat too.
Right. Hey, all the viewers, all the listeners, we appreciate you. We've held you a little bit hostage. We went overtime, but it was all great content. For AG, for Jesse, Ro Parrish, we out of here. Love, respect, and salute. And it's all brought to you by FanDuel.